All right, Abusuya minti ana misanso emo akwa by my channel so Abusuya for ha. And that's why I bear media judge Abusuya be so wase and then dey connect channel so a. Ani dey kwan so Abusuya ye be so wase be subscribe be like na wa bo aso share ma for person be tie no enya bi atie na Abusuya eye Gabby O Darko. Gabby O Darko Abusuya dey asem na si dey na Gabby O Darko this time wa kwakofa aba. Abusuya dey asem na Gabby O Darko Abusuya wako akofa aba eha eda so aye be media judge Abusuya we dey ma mekasa wa me ma mekasa enye tenten eni dey kwan so mese wa say obe subscribe e dey ama ye YouTube channel bobo notification bell no so for more podcast update yentie ni Abusuya ba betodwa efa eye Gabby O Darko ho Gabby O Darko yentie na ba betodwa efa papa ho amra sesi ha. That's why I bear media GH.
I made the point that establishing that it is a tradition does not mean that this current DC should be pardoned. And that's why I proceeded to say that the DC ought to have known the reset agenda he was taking there to do. And that the fact that it was happening under the NPP, the money is going on to the IGF of the district assemblies, shouldn't be entertained by an NDC appointee sent there to pursue the president's agenda of reset. And that is one unique thing about the National Democratic Congress. We don't protect our own when they are found guilty. We don't clear them like we used to witness by heart, especially when it comes to the Galamsey fight. And that's why I can confidently sit around this table and say that that particular DC ought to be dealt with in accordance with our law and the government's promise to reset the Galamsey sector, to reset the country and ensure that we leave Galamsey in the bad. We knew from the word go, even when we were campaigning, that some of our appointees would be that reckless to want to abuse this power by engaging in the very acts we criticize the NPP administration for engaging in. We knew. And that's why President Mahama said that any such appointee or an associate of this government found in that light would be dealt with. And I'm glad my brother made references to even national executives who are not holding any government position, who themselves have become subjects of investigations at the back of a simple newspaper publication that we suspect that A and B have something to do with the Galamsey task force.
How far was that investigation? It's been a while.
So that is what you guys have to follow up, because even at the party level, we have made serious calls on government and the Attorney General in particular to make known the outcome of the investigations. I know as a matter of fact that one of those who are at the center of the investigations is Yamin. Yamin himself has been calling for the outcome of the investigations to be made public. Abanga has also called, because they themselves are interested, because they are clear in their minds that they are not involved.
You must not also forget that that investigation was also linked to the Professor Fribourg.
The two have to go together. So possibly, possibly that is what is prolonging it, because Professor indicated, he mentioned in the past when even the de facto, what do they call him? Prime Minister of this country. Gabby. Yes. Was being cited as being part of Galamsey. No investigations were carried out. And it was not by a mere person. It was the sitting Minister of Environment and Science and Technology at the time who made the accusations. No investigations were carried on. So to the extent that today, even we have this kind of momentum, there's something for you to track. You see, you just asked the question, what has happened to the outcome of the investigation? There's a trail for you to track. In the past, you didn't have that. So if after some time, you seem not to be getting the outcome of the investigations, you know that the government is engaged in something untoward, and you can measure that government by that standard. And so that is the beauty of the National Democratic Congress. And when I have the opportunity of speaking to the youth, I always tell them that what makes us different is our ability to speak the truth, even if it bites on our asses. That is how we're trained. That is the fundamental ideals of the party. Positive defiance. And so be rest assured that we may not be able to solve all the problems in this country as a political party, and especially under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But we would be sincere with the Ghanaian people, we would be honest, and we would make ourselves available for accountability when the need arises for them to base on that and take a decision. And my only invitation is to the NPP to take a cue from the governance style of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the availability, the humility that he is exhibiting, the utmost respect for the Ghanaian people that he's so far showing is a mark of governance we cannot take for granted. We all saw the power Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo wielded and showed the good people of this country. We don't want that kind of leadership style again. And thankfully, we have the NDC and John Dramani Mahama.
Well, thank you very much. You have some limited time to go. So let's So we want to.
We are moving on to the next subject.
Yeah, we want to get.
Because if he comes in, I'll get the opportunity.
Yes, we want to get. So of course, earlier this week there was an emergency cabinet meeting to, prefer solutions to the Cocoa Board issues. The finance minister, of course, engaged Ghanaians on that very matter. Let's just bring a recap of what the finance minister shared with the Ghanaian people on what to do with Cocoa Board. After that, we'll also hear from the minority because quickly they reacted to the finance minister's solutions.
As a result of that, the PPLC thereby announces that effective today, Thursday, 12 February 2026, the new producer price for the remainder of the 2025-2026 crop season will now be 41,392 Ghana cedis per ton and 2,587 Ghana cedis per bag. This measure has become necessary to reflect the reality of the world market price of cocoa, ensure the injection of immediate liquidity for expedited payment of farmers, and guarantee the sustainability of our cocoa sector. As you recall, that I made an announcement in the 2026 budget that government of Ghana has secured a $500 million World Bank facility to construct agricultural roads, including cocoa roads. This particular intervention will take over the construction of cocoa roads going forward. To ensure accountability and transparency in the management of Cocoa Board and the cocoa sector as a whole, Cabinet also directed the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years. And I repeat, Cabinet also directed the Office of the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years. Cabinet has directed the Ministry of Finance to initiate also immediate reforms at Cocoa Board to streamline their operations and cut costs. Wasteful and uncontrolled expenditure practices are to be curtailed immediately.
If the cocoa farmers' farm gate price is going to be reduced by almost 30%, then everybody's pay in this country should also be slashed by that margin. Is the Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, his allowance and salary, is it going to be slashed by the same margin? I am sad. Today is a sad country for everybody. And I think the president should come again. Cocoa farmers deserve better.
All of this has come about because of the reset that Cocoa Board did. And that is why, respectfully, we ask the president to relieve the Cocoa Board CEO of his responsibilities at this point in time. Number two, we are asking the government that in previous times when cocoa prices fell and the government absorbed the shock and protected the cocoa farmer, the NDC government should absorb the cost of what they have done and protect the cocoa farmer and restore at least the 3,625 that they promised. This 2,800 or so that they are promising is totally unacceptable. Already we are receiving messages from cocoa farmers who say that if this is what is going to happen, they are going to demonstrate in a number of these. And if they do, we in this caucus, we will join them on the streets to do this demonstration.
As a result of that.
So that's the minority, and of course, lastly, heard from Kojo Akroma speaking there. It's been a very thorny issue in the last few days, this very matter. I'm going to start with Kamaldeen. He has, in fact, hinted that he needs to leave early, so we'll get his thoughts on it, then we can excuse him. Kamal, I mean, all over the media airwaves, your party functionaries have been, very hard on government. In fact, the big one is the fact that they're calling for the head of the Cocoa Board CEO, citing that he, in quotes, has been mismanaging the sector, and that has resulted in the issues that we are facing now. But he has also been explaining, and one of the key things that we saw from that is that you left him with a debt of in excess of 34 billion Ghana cedis, and that's a huge one that has, crippled the industry and many other issues, and why they have had to come up with some of these reforms to deal with the sector.
As well, we are in the second year of this government. I'm trying to remind Ghanaians. And of course, I remember also on the 13th of December, 2015, thereabout, at the inauguration of Assemblies of God's Revival Center. Now the President of the Republic of Ghana, then the President too as well, said Ghanaians have short memory. That's how he described Ghanaians that time. No wonder this is happening today. Prior to 2008 election, where is the Venerable Atuahoy? Wherever he is this morning, I want to say good morning to him. Prior to 2008 election, I'm telling you the stock and trade of NDC, who they are, how deceitful they appear. He was on a board calculating how much fuel will be sold when they are elected. When they got elected, the story was different. Again, fast forward to where we are today. The minister who just spoke, the finance minister, called NPP wicked people and said we're insensitive to the plight of the common farmer. This minister. Now today, the same minister is at the helm of affairs. La Côte d'Ivoire, who have had meetings with us as also cocoa producers, who we are also ensuring that our farmers would not smuggle our cocoa beans to Côte d'Ivoire, have maintained their producer price at 3,690 Ghana cedis. Check. Ghana is telling us that our cocoa farmer is useless. Our cocoa farmer needs nothing. Our cocoa farmers' children don't need better issue. So therefore, 1,000 Ghana cedis is taken from their what they're supposed to earn. That's how wicked this government is. That's how callous they are. That's how insensitive Atuforsen and his team are to the common cocoa farmer. And when we talk, as usual, because they think we have short memories, they will come and tell you that we have told AG to go and institute investigation. Rhetorics. You have been here for 1 year, going to 2 years. You have not done investigations. You haven't looked at anything. The next moment, hey, the model we came to meet is what we have used. That is why we have not changed the model. My brother sat here and said that their agenda was to reset. Therefore, you have no excuse to come and then use any model that will bring problems. My brother sat here and said that. Reference to the cocoa sector too as well. If the CEO comes to tell you the model was used by MPP and that's what we have used and that's where there's a problem, we have been left. Look, you told us that you can fix it. You deceived Ghanaians. You lied your way to power. Told Ghanaians that you are coming to fix it. Fix it. What you can do today, when the MP spoke, that if you are reducing the cocoa farmers' earnings, equally reduce your salaries, equally reduce your allowances, equally reduce what you are getting. You are not even a farmer. They toil, they suffer, they go to the bush. Sometimes serpents even attack them, only for them to suffer for nothing they have done.
I mean, but fundamentally, just to do a little follow-up, fundamentally, on the pricing issue that you made reference to.
Yes.
I mean, you do understand where government finds itself at the moment. Mm-hmm. You're talking about cocoa prices, yes, which had risen to you know, of course, we saw the cocoa price rise even at a point a high of 13,000, came to 10,000. Now it's as low.
Yeah, at 4,000 something.
Yes, very low.
Yes.
And if government continues with the 3,600, clearly there's a huge loss.
In 2017, when they reduced, the world price came down from $3,000 to somewhere $2,000. What did the government do in 2017 when we came in power? We maintained it. Check. That's what we did. That's what a responsible government would do.
Abusia or family no nuguso a ocean never saw unsubscribe no like it. No share jumedi ama from so and said to me and do not forget to click on the notification bell so any update be do and also enter able to me akabi. Abusia for family in same pina so good. I am going to see in some do e course e family no so.
In the producer price. La Côte d'Ivoire, our neighbors. Check.
Isn't that part
I have
of the
just
problem?
told you that La Côte d'Ivoire are not insensitive to the plight of their farmers. They have not reduced it. They have maintained at 3,690. We were even doing 6,625. You have reduced it by 1,000 to let the farmers suffer. La Côte d'Ivoire here, where you have joint meetings with them, have maintained it. Why can't you do same?
But isn't that the problem? Isn't that the problem?
What's the problem?
You know, you came in 2017 and decided to maintain the price.
You are led by deceitful people who deceive you. That's what happens.
And decided to maintain the price.
Why are you fighting on this? No, I'm just going to just keep quiet and listen. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying that isn't that the problem? For instance, in 2017, when the world price, you know, had come down, and ordinarily you should have taken a more pragmatic, a more bold decision to peg the price just like what the bill is coming to do now, to make sure that the pricing of the cocoa is at swings to reflect the world market price. You decided to keep it at 475.
Thank you so much.
And maybe that accounted for some of the debt.
Let me let you understand something. How it works is that projections come to play here. And everyone, a responsible person who knows that the cocoa sector is controlled by what happens or occurrences in the world market, would not recklessly come and tell that I'll give you 6,000 cedis. What projections did you make? Will not recklessly come and tell you that at the end I'll give you 7,000. I want to please. I will not do that. That is what they did to get power. They lie to people that when they come to power, they can increase what they were taking, which was by then around $7,000 thereabout. The farmer could have been given close to 6,000. When they came to power, we waited and waited for the first announcement to do. What they could do was to add what? A meager some 200 cedi or how much to what was existing. The next one, when we made noise about it, they came and increased to 6,600. That is NDC for you. And I'm telling you that the common farmer, you can say whatever you want to say. Use all the semantics. But the farmer knows that 1,000 Ghana cedis, keeping one, is taken away from his earnings. And I'm saying that these people, that is their stock in trade. They lie their way to power, they deceive people, they come and then when reality is faced them, they now resort to rhetorics. Since when have you been told that loans of $500 million are taken now, and out of the $500 million, Cocoa Rose is going to be done? You told us, the CEO told us that there's no way he would sign Cocoa Rose contracts, and that he had existing contracts. Now the finance minister is telling us that some $500 million has been secured somewhere, and out of that, some cocoa roads will be done. I am telling you how
that's a $500 million. That's a $500 million the roads ministry has secured.
Yes,
and they are going to do agricultural.
And he says as part of it,
the World Bank facility, and they are going to do agricultural roads.
Is it the cocoa bottle we're going to sign it?
I'm telling you how cunning they are. People are complaining in the cocoa sectors that their roads are bad. The CEO tells them that I have no money to do cocoa roads. Now the finance minister is telling us that some money is secured for agric roads. As a result, cocoa roads will be part of it again. That's how cunning they are. That is politics. I am telling you how the NDC is. You see, if you understand and follow it, you will get to understand that these people are wrong people in power. And these people being wrong in power cannot continue to do this to Ghana and do this to the common farmer who is struggling.
All right,
that's
great.
what it says.
These
people,
you see,
NDC.
Get him. Some chill.
You will get me nothing. You will get me nothing.
First of all,
nothing to say.
You see, clearly, I think that my brother has a difficulty appreciating how the
cocoa sector works. And I can understand the frustration.
How it works.
Please,
just
please.
make your submission and stop telling me that you are telling me how it works.
I think you have
the farmer wants his money.
When you were speaking,
that's what you have to
quiet.
do. I am telling you what the farmer needs to do. Stop this.
Let him make his point.
That's
I don't think you believe in very soon. So stay with us.
I'm going to start.
My time is
I'm going to start by exposing the misconceptions that he has churned out. First of all, he asked an interesting question. That in 2017, when the world prices came down, they did not reduce prices of cocoa. And so why are we reducing? My simple answer to him is that in 2017, syndicated loan was still active and present. And the meaning of the syndication meant that you were hedging the sales of your cocoa. So you forward sales. So even if prices come down, the cocoa season, when you announce the prices, because of the syndication, you are already taking the money from the buyers. So as a result of the syndication, no, he needs to sit down and listen to this. So, and we need to expose him.
He doesn't have any program anyway. He's
running away.
He said he's been invited on Metro TV.
So, but let me make this point. So if he had an understanding of the process, he would have come to appreciate that syndication was active in 2017. And so you needed not to reduce prices even if international prices were coming down. Because you were hedging. And hedging simply means that whether international prices are going up or down, you maintain at the same price you sold your cocoa the previous year.
Yeah.
And so if he had a better understanding of the cocoa sector, he wouldn't have been asking the same question when they took away syndication in 2024. In 2024, you were in this country when they sent out their RFPs, requests for proposals from the commercial banks. And because Cocoa Board had become comatose, they had run it down. Remember, in 2016, when His Excellency President Mahama was handing over power to them, Cocoa Board had a positive equity of 1.8 billion Ghana cedis, meaning that in paying all its liabilities, Cocoa Board still had in excess of about 1.8 billion capital or money that was available to it. But by 2024, when they left office, Cocoa Board had a negative equity of about 3.4 billion. That is the difference here. And remember that it was the same year, between 2024, that Cocoa Board had to rely on Ministry of Finance to borrow $70 million US. And in the midst of that, through the domestic debt exchange program, Cocoa Board also then told the Ministry of Finance that they were unable to pay the cocoa bonds that Ghanaians had subscribed to. By these actions, Cocoa Board was invariably telling the international partners that the organization had become comatose and not financially viable. And that's why when they attempted to do the syndication in 2024, they could not get the banks to express interest, and they made a U-turn and said that this year they have decided as a matter of policy not to do syndication. They were forced to abandon syndication and adopted a process where they were simply paying spot prices for the cocoa. So the buyers will pre-finance, send the money down, Cocoa Board will buy and send to them at the prevailing prices.
Yeah.
And mind you, there was also another important factor, and that had to do with the rollover contracts. That at the time was going for $2,600 per ton. But because of Cocoa Board's inability to supply in that season, supply all the 333,000 or so metric tons of cocoa, we had to roll it over onto the 2023-2024 cocoa season. What that meant was that, and at that time it was 2,600 per ton. So what that meant was that Cocoa Board had to, in the next cocoa season, had to take more than half of our cocoa produced to sell it at a price of $2,600 to pay the liabilities of the previous year, when the international market prices was in the region of about $13,000 per ton. So Ghana was losing in excess of about $10,000 because of the recklessness of his own party and government. Again, under them, road contracts that were signed under the cocoa rules amounted to about 25 billion. A liability that this government inherited. So they had run cocoa board down. And people are forgetting. Between 2023 to 2024, your sister station, hosted the president of the Licensed Buyers Association, one Kwesi Adimado, if I got the name right. He indicated to you that for 9 months in 2023, cocoa farmers were not paid. And Ananado Danko Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Is this the case under this government? It's only been 3 months. It's only been 3 months. And yet, government respects the sector to the extent that it had to move in to hold an emergency cabinet session in an attempt to deal with the crisis of the sector. Because we understand the implications of the cocoa industry to the economy of this country. And we have proceeded to issue out directives, which includes, amongst others, that cocoa farmers need to be paid immediately. And because the current system is not working, another directive has been given for the implementation of the new cocoa bill, presentation of the new cocoa bill to Parliament for onward passage after deliberations, so that at least we can have in place an automatic adjustment formula. Since we are no longer doing syndication, when you go to the international market and the prices increase, Ghana has the opportunity to also increase its prices. If it drops, Ghana will also drop to reflect the drop. That is what we call the automatic adjustment.
It's just like what happens to the fuel prices.
Absolutely. So we have such a system. The farmers will be protected. And I listened to them in their press conference. And you see, as for the MPP, it's a stock in trade. I heard my brother say that they are Honorable Venerable Otuahoy indicated that when we're in opposition, that fuel prices will come down, blah, blah. Fuel prices are coming down. Indeed, it came down under President Mills, even when we won. It has come down under President John Dramani Mahama. But those of, maybe some of you were younger, especially from our audience, those of you who monitored the 2000 general elections, we still remember in this country what the MPP did, championed by His Excellency President Kufuor. When he lifted a gallon of petrol, you remember, Solo?
Yeah, I do.
And said that how much is this gallon of petrol that it sells for this much? Who's wow? President Kufuor, their 2000 election campaign hinged on petroleum prices and the fact that the NDC True Rawlings had been in power for too long. They started the fuel politics campaign in this country. And that's why I wanted my brother to be there. And I'll remind you.
Abusia, I had a radio mystery, Jumadi, and a baby. You must also unsubscribe, subscribe, and all like it. No, share Jumadi, I'm our friend, so and say to me, Akabi. And do not forget to click on the notification button to any update, baby, drop piano. Also, and say able to me, Akabi. Abusia, for can lose a soap best political news. When you maybe I say POG Media, and I went to always be under POG Media. Never pick up best political news, and maybe the echo and the eba. Our Ghana, I'm going to say, Abusia for Macram.